Well, it's great to see you again, Mr. President, and good to have you here for the summit. And we are going to discuss many important issues at the summit. Among them is defense spending. And we all agree that we have to do more. I agree with you that we have to make sure that allies are investing more. The good news is that allies have started to invest more in defense. After years of cutting defense budgets, they have started to add billions to the defense budgets. And last year was the biggest increase in defense spending across Europe and Canada in a generation.
Why was that last year?
It's also because of your leadership, because your clear message. And
they won't write that. But
no, I have said it before. But the thing is that it really has. Your message is having an impact, and we are going to build on that to make sure that we have further increases. You initiated last year that all allies are going to develop national plans on how to spend more on defense. And based on these national plans, we now estimate that the European allies and Canada will add 266 extra US dollars for defense from now until 20 billion.
If Trump did one thing right, it is this. He encouraged allies to finally increase their defense spending. And that's probably one of the best things they can do, especially in these difficult times we live in right now.
US dollars until 2024. So
you have to give Trump credit for that.
This is really adding some extra money. It helps, and we are moving in the right direction, but we still have to do more, and that is what we're going to address at the summit later on today. Let me also add that strong NATO is good for Europe, but it's also good for the United States. The US military presence in Europe helps to protect Europe, but it also helps the United States project power to the Middle East, to Africa, and I think also that the military clout of Europe, the economic clout, the political clout, also is helpful dealing with Russia. And
I totally agree with what he's saying right there. A strong Europe is good for everybody. A strong America is good for everybody. And this means increasing the defense spending.
Look forward to the meeting we're going to have with President Putin. And I think that leaders are also looking forward to your thoughts about the meeting with President Putin later on.
Well, I have to say, I think it's very sad when Germany makes a massive oil and gas deal with Russia, where you're supposed to be guarding against Russia, and Germany goes out and pays billions and billions of dollars a year to Russia. So we're protecting Germany, we're protecting France, we're protecting all of these countries, and then numerous of the countries go out and make a pipeline deal with Russia.
I agree. That was probably the biggest mistake that Germany and the rest of Europe did over the past few years, enabling Russia to earn billions of euros and dollars and go to war with this money. It's sad to see.
They're paying billions of dollars into the coffers of Russia. So we're supposed to protect you against Russia, but they're paying billions of dollars to Russia, and I think that's very inappropriate. And the former chancellor of Germany is the head of the pipeline company that's supplying the gas. Ultimately, Germany will have almost 70% of their country controlled by Russia with natural gas. So you tell me, is that appropriate? I mean, I've been complaining about this from the time I got in. It should have never been allowed to have happened. But Germany is totally controlled by Russia because they were getting from 60 to 70% of their energy.
Well, I don't agree that Germany is controlled by Russia, but I totally agree with Trump when he is saying this is not normal, this is very inappropriate. And inappropriate is a very soft word. It is total nonsense. It is completely insane. It was the biggest mistakes of the last decade, if you ask me. And this should stop now. So thank you, President Donald Trump, for pointing this out.
From Russia and a new pipeline. And you tell me if that's appropriate, because I think it's not. And I think it's a very bad thing for NATO, and I don't think it should have happened. And I think we have to talk to Germany about it. On top of that, Germany is just paying a little bit over 1% whereas the United States in actual numbers is paying 4.2% of a much larger GDP. So I think that's inappropriate also. You know, we're protecting Germany, we're protecting France, we're protecting everybody, and yet we're paying a lot of money to protect. Now, this has been going on for decades. This has been brought up by other presidents, but other presidents never did anything about it because I don't think they understood it or they just didn't want to get involved. But I have to bring it up because I think it's very unfair to our country. It's very unfair to our taxpayer.
Well, Germany has kind of a particular past. That's why they were pretty much very, very reticent. They didn't want to spend a lot of money on defense because of their past, but now they are waking up and they understand that it is now time to change that, and rightfully so.
And I think that these countries have to step it up, not over a 10-year period, they have to step it up immediately. Germany is a rich country. They talk about they're going to increase it a tiny bit by 2030. Well, they could increase it immediately tomorrow and have no problem. I don't think it's fair to the United States. So we're going to have to do something because we're not going to put up with it. We can't put up with it, and it's inappropriate. So we have to talk about the billions and billions of dollars that's being paid to the country that we're supposed to be protecting you against. You know, everybody's talking about it all over the world. They'll say, well, wait a minute, we're supposed to be protecting you from Russia, but why are you paying billions of dollars to Russia for energy? Why are countries in NATO, namely Germany, having a large percentage of their energy needs paid, you know, to Russia and taken care of by Russia?
I think nobody realized it. Nobody was really aware of it before Trump pointing that out. Maybe some people were aware of it, but probably not the general population who vote the people in charge, right? So now that Donald Trump pointed this issue out, now that he put the finger on it, now people are starting to realize it. Now that Russia is at war with the rest of Europe, we now realize it was a big mistake. And it should basically stop. And Donald Trump was right many, many years ago.
If you look at it, Germany is a captive of Russia because they supply. They got rid of their coal plants. They got rid of their nuclear. They're getting so much of the oil and gas from Russia. I think it's something that NATO has to look at. I think it's very inappropriate. You and I agree that it's inappropriate. I don't know what you can do about it now, but it certainly doesn't seem to make sense that they pay billions of dollars to Russia, and now we have to defend them against Russia.
You know, NATO is an alliance of 29 nations, and there are sometimes differences and different views and also some disagreements. And the gas pipeline from Russia to Germany is one issue where allies disagree. But the strength of NATO is that despite these differences, we have always been able to unite around our core task to protect and defend each other because we understand that we are stronger together than apart. I think that 2 world wars and the Cold War taught us that we are stronger together than apart.
But how can you be together when a country is getting its energy from the person you want protection against or from the group that you want protection?
Because we understand that when we stand together, also when dealing with Russia, we are stronger. I think what we have seen is that...
No, you're just making Russia richer. Well, you're not dealing with Russia, you're making Russia richer.
Well, so I think that even during the Cold War, NATO allies were trading with Russia. Then there have been disagreements about what kind of trade arrangements we should go
I think
to.
trade is wonderful. I think energy is a whole different story. I think energy is a much different story than normal trade. And you have a country like Poland that won't accept the gas. You take a look at some of the countries, they won't accept it because they don't want to be captive to Russia. But Germany, as far as I'm concerned, is captive to Russia because it's getting so much of its energy from Russia. So we're supposed to protect Germany, but they're getting their energy from Russia. Explain that. And it can't be explained, you know that.
All right, thank you, press. Thank you.
Yep, I think Donald Trump was right about this one. I think he made a total valid point. I think Germany realized that ultimately, but much too late, unfortunately. Let's look at what people were saying. Trump was tired of waiting for his food, and so he decided to cook Stoltenberg. That's a nice joke. Imagine Kamala in that meeting. No thanks, she's dangerous. Yeah, I agree. Knock knock, guess who's back? NATO. Yep. Now we call it like that. Trump was 100% spot on. I agree. Explain it. You know you can't explain it. Facts. Well, Stoltenberg doesn't have all the answer. He's only here to speak on behalf of the other countries, but he doesn't know probably what everybody is thinking. He was so right. Germany did build a pipeline from Russia, whereas US paying more than half in NATO as means of protection from Russia. Very unfair to US taxpayers. Yeah, it's very unfair to everybody. I agree. Trump was a wild president, but I think it's pretty clear he had America's best interest in mind. The guy is so competitive. Yes, he knows how to negotiate. He knows how to make great deals. He knows how to build great relationships. He knows how to protect his interest and the interest of the American people. I am German. I have to say it feels good sometimes pointing this out. Completely right. He is completely right. He warned about what Germany is suffering from right now economically. Total dependence on Russia. Germany is at a turning point. They have now to hold votes again, elect their own government once again, because the past one were complete failure. Stoltenberg is sitting still and listening, being schooled by Donald Trump, who is basically behind NATO, pays much more the most part of NATO, and without America, NATO would be nothing. And he knows that. He knows that very well, that Europe is still hugely dependent on the United States for its own defense, and that is not normal at all. This should change. To have peace in the world, to have prosperity and peace, we have to be strong. We have to be stronger. We have to look strong and be strong so that peace and prosperity can come back into the world. Defend and defend our own interests and defend our own values of liberty and freedom. Thanks for watching and staying with me. I hope you enjoyed this video with me today, guys. I really appreciate you being here and sticking with me to the end as always. Click right there to watch the next video, and I will see you there. Bye bye for now.